Ringside Reality.
Hello everybody and welcome to Ringside Reality. I'm your host Jonathan, along with my co-host Chris.
Co-host of Ringside Reality, as Johnny just said. Hello everybody.
Ringside Reality. We're back after a hiatus.
Do you know what this made me think of when we came back from our hiatus?
What's that?
Well, did anything pop in your head? Because I thought it was something.
I don't know. We're back and better than ever.
I knew you were thinking.
I don't know about better than ever.
We're fatter than ever?
Probably. After the Christmas break, yeah, definitely.
Well, I had a plan to play that song just because every time I think it. Actually, I just want to throw that in quick before we explain our absence. You remember when Bischoff came out on Raw, like when we were teenagers?
Yeah,
I came up to your house, and you were like, "Oh, something happened last night because I missed it or something because I was on vacation. I was doing something." And I was like, "What happened?" You're like, "I heard Bischoff's in fucking WWF." I'm like, "What?" I might have been the biggest.
Totally ruined it for you.
Well, yeah, you used to always ruin stuff because you used to stay up like till 4 o'clock in the morning watch wrestling. And you used to come in and be like, "Oh man, you should have seen last night when fucking Sultan won the Intercontinental title off fucking Fatu or something." And I was like, "Man, everyone," because I think Raw used to come on Tuesdays right after we get out of school, like on TSN. I think
yeah, dude.
right.
So sometimes I don't know if anybody who ever hears this and doesn't really know what was going on at the time, but TSN used to like preempt Raw if there was like, I don't know, hockey, like NHL finals or NBA finals or NBA finals or something like that, right? And
yeah.
So Raw wouldn't come on until like 1:30, 2 in the morning, and we were in high school, so we had to go to school the next day. So a lot of the times, what I'd either do is I'd stay up and watch it, or I'd record it and get up and watch it before school and just fast forward to the commercials and stuff, right? And
I think it goes without saying that your attendance at school was very poor, by the way. Especially on Tuesdays.
Oh yeah, it was very poor. And then I'd come into school, tell everybody what happened, yes, but wrestling would be on that afternoon, so everybody in school would be like, "Can't wait to get off school to go watch wrestling and see what happened," and I'd be in school like,
oh yeah, like, well, we were in Newfoundland too, where everything's like 6 years wide. Like fucking, we never even heard of Eminem till like 2007. Everything's just way back. So Tuesdays was actually Raw Day, but I guess that was Canada wide, probably, like the TSN thing. It just wasn't just Newfoundland. Like,
yeah, but the thing was, it was preempted in Newfoundland. Let's say till 1:30, right? But that's like 12 o'clock in Ontario, right?
Yeah, so and like 9 o'clock in BC.
Yeah, if you wanted to stay up and watch it, you could probably, force yourself to stay up and watch a little bit of it anyway.
Oh, you did?
Because, I mean, I found it weird. I even said to my wife that, like, when I was in Alberta, watching wrestling in Alberta is mad weird. Because it comes on at 6 o'clock in the afternoon. So
That's super weird.
Yeah, so I'm used to sitting down with a lunch and a beer and having, you know what I mean, sitting down and watching wrestling. Up there, I'm sitting watching wrestling, eating supper.
Yeah, that's strange. I don't know if I'd like that. Like, it's kind of like, well, maybe it's because I don't like change. Like, I'm so used to the routine of, the Mondays and now Tuesdays or whatever. Like, well, Mondays especially because it's been like a fucking quarter century Raw. But you know what I mean? Like, our routine that we have comes on at 8 o'clock or 9:30 for you, I guess. Like, I don't know, it'd be weird. Like, watching Raw when it's daylight, like, I don't know. It just seems weird, man.
Well, like,
I don't know if I'd be able to handle it.
You gotta think of it this way, it's over at 9. Up there.
Yeah.
Like, it's over at 9 o'clock. That's so weird. Like, I found myself so many times wrestling's over, and I'm just sitting there like, what the hell do I do now? Like, I'm so used to wrestling being over, and then just like, oh, well, it's time for bed because it's like 12:30, 1 o'clock in the morning. Now it's like 9 o'clock. What the fuck am I supposed to do now? Watch a movie or something, I suppose? Like,
get on the internet and bitch and complain about what you've seen?
Well, it's even worse with like stuff like WrestleMania. That shit starts at like 4 o'clock in the day, man. 4 or 5 o'clock in the day up there. Like.
Yeah. Well, Raw only went 3 hours a few years ago, too, so, I mean, that shit was in at 8 o'clock.
Yeah.
Forever, because it was only a 2-hour show. But, anyway, I digress, I suppose, but,
yeah, we were explaining our absence. We were explaining our absence here.
The last time we did a podcast, Iron Sheik was champion.
Well, the funny thing is, the last podcast we did still hasn't been put up yet because I was too lazy to fucking edit the last couple of days.
Well, the last podcast we did, so this is a
November.
classic excuse. This is basically the dog ate my homework excuse. So we did a podcast. Johnny was up for Survivor Series, and we did a show in like my basement, and then he went back home a few days later, and he was like, "Oh, upload that podcast." And my computer just was totally screwed up. I mean, it was just one of those things where I couldn't sign in the Dropbox because my keyboard wouldn't work. I guess I had some kind of virus or something. But anyway, that went on for like 2 weeks. Finally, I took it to the computer shop. They fixed it, but now it was Christmas. And then Christmas came and went, and it was like all of a sudden the first week of January, so it's like a month gone by now since Johnny left, or a little more. And then I got horribly sick for the last 2 weeks. I got diagnosed with freaking HIV or something. So I've just been not in the mood, really. Like, I have no energy. And I don't know, what's your fucking excuse?
Well, I didn't have an excuse. I was just waiting on you.
Oh yeah, put the onus on me. This is classic. This is what our relationship's all about. Everything's my fault, apparently.
Well, from what you just said, it really was. Like, so, you couldn't send me the podcast because your keyboard didn't work.
No.
Your computer didn't work. You couldn't sign in the
It's your Dropbox account, isn't it?
Yeah, but you couldn't sign into it.
Sounds to me like you're friggin' pretty much the core of the problem. your Dropbox, not mine.
I fixed it.
Yeah.
Awkward silence.
Oh, I figured it. Well, anyway, that's not the point. We're back, and we're better than ever. Well, anyway, I just want to, like, yes. I've been sick, and can you really say that's my fault? Like, I'm not sure.
Well, I'm sure it's not my fault.
Yeah, but, like, it's not really my fault. Man, Johnny, you text me and was like, "Oh, I'm sick." Like, this is one of our... See, this is... We've been having this argument over different topics for the last, like, 25 years. It just gets childish. It's not really my fault that I'm sick.
No.
Like, that happens to the human body, and there's not much I can do about it. The Dropbox thing, too, like, my computer screwed up, had a virus. Again, that's not really my fault. Well, maybe it is due to...
Yeah, but then you asked me what my issue was. I didn't have any issue.
I don't know. Anyway,
Okay,
we're back.
Well, we're
going to
back.
keep things going.
We're going to talk about some wrestling.
Now, what we're going to do is we're going to talk about this off air, and I'm really going to speak my mind because I can't do it on podcast.
We're going to talk about some. We're going to talk about some wrestling.
We can't.
Well,
we can't go back.
A lot's happened in wrestling since like last time, but we're not going to go through it all. We'll be here fucking forever.
Well, I can't even remember half of it, to be honest with you.
Well, like I suppose lots of stuff happened, but nothing really monumental.
Yes, it has. We'll start off. Well, what we're going to do, this is my idea, and you can disagree with me if you want. Now, everyone, please, this is our first time that we never planned this show. We just talked on the phone for a few minutes, and we got right into this. So we didn't have an outline of what we were going to do today because there was a lot to talk about. But I think, like for me, I just want to hit on a couple of things, and you can hit on a couple of things you want to. But I want to also give our Rumble predictions, which is probably going to take up a good bit of time because that's what is the topic right now. The Rumble's only a few days away, so I figure we spend some time on that because that's what's actually relevant.
Yeah.
But a couple things I want to talk about that happened big, for me, just the first thing is Kurt Angle in the Hall of Fame. It's not really huge news, I guess, because it's obvious he should be in there, right? I mean, not like Owen or something going in, but I just want to give a shout out to Kurt Angle because he is literally one of the greatest wrestlers of all time, and it shouldn't have taken this long. And I'm going to ask you your opinion on if he's going to wrestle at Mania or not, basically, is where I'm going with this.
Well, the thing is, in my opinion, he should, but I don't know if they're going to let him. I really don't. I really think that he's done a lot for WWE, and he's got a lot of like demons in his closet and stuff, and he dealt with a lot of shit over the years. If it was up to me, I'd definitely give him that one last match and that like send-off that he never really got, you know what I mean? Give him his WrestleMania. Now, he's had lots of WrestleMania moments, but I mean, his final WrestleMania, like, Ric Flair got his, Shawn Michaels got his, like, they get their WrestleMania moment, right? Where everybody can remember him forever, that this is his last final time at WrestleMania, yada, yada, yada. His is going to be come out waving to the crowd and leaving. I don't know if that's really how he should go out, right?
Not if he's capable of wrestling, too, eh?
That's the thing. I don't really even understand why not. So Vince is against him wrestling because he's afraid he's going to get hurt or he's not in physical shape. But like I said to you the other day on the phone, Angle's wrestling all over the world like right now. I was just reading on the internet maybe like a half hour ago that Angle just cancelled 2 UK dates for the weekend for Friday and Saturday night. So he was scheduled to wrestle Friday and Saturday night in the UK for a company in the UK. But Vince doesn't think he's healthy enough to wrestle at Royal Rumble or WrestleMania or whatever. That makes no goddamn sense at all.
I don't know. Like, if you trace it back, like, I mean, I can't speak to this too well, to be honest with you. I just remember kind of tidbits and little snippets of, like, Vince McMahon's reaction to Kurt Angle over the last 10 years. He left in 2006, I think, is when he left WWE. He's been gone a long time, man. He's got 11 years. That's crazy. It's over a decade, but he was never hot on him wrestling. Like, even like maybe 2008, 2009, when he talked about coming back, Vince was like, nope, he's not getting in my ring. And then maybe 13, 14, nope, he's not. I don't know what Vince has against him getting back in the ring, but I mean, it's pretty stupid when you think of it, and it is hypocrisy. I mean, so they're gonna put a 7-foot black dude that hasn't been in the NBA for like 5 years and is not even an athlete anymore. He's a commentator. They're gonna put him in a ring to wrestle a match, and he has no training, nothing. Like, the man could get seriously hurt. They'll put him in there, but you won't put one of the greatest wrestlers of all time, who I'm pretty damn sure on that stage, whether or not he's in his prime or not, or if he's got all these demons, he will perform. He's Kurt Angle, man. Like, he's one of the greatest fucking wrestlers of all time. But yet you'll sit there and watch Shaq and Big Show, and like, that's okay. I don't know. It's just whatever it is about, like, and this whole thing about him being addicted to drugs and stuff. And, like, that's kind of yesterday's news, isn't it? Like, that's not really relevant for now. I don't think Kurt Angle still has those demons, or maybe he does. I don't know about it.
Listen, Roddy Piper was wrestling WWE like fucking 4 or 5 years ago.
Remember when he was fucking Chris Jericho, man, at WrestleMania?
That's what I mean. So, but pretty sure Roddy Piper had his goddamn demons back in the day. Snuka, the same deal. Like, they had that Jericho thing. Remember a couple of years ago where he
was in the match. It was like Snuka, Jericho, and Snuka, Steamboat, and Piper
versus Jericho. So they let these fellers get into the ring. They got all kinds of demons. Randy Orton, boy, I'm pretty sure Randy Orton's been on the wellness program like fucking 6 times or something. Like,
it makes no sense.
I don't understand it all, man.
The bottom line for me is that that can't be the reason. Like, there's something else that we don't know about, because as internet wrestling fans and guys on the internet, and smarks and podcasts, we like to think that we can get to the bottom of everything. It has to be something we just can't figure out, like it,
or something we don't know about, or something.
Yeah, like, I mean, we don't know everything. We don't know what color underwear Vince got on every morning. Like, there's certain stuff that obviously we like to chat about and think that we can figure it out, because this is what we do, watch wrestling so much. But there's got to be something else, man. It's got to be.
But it's one of those things.
And I don't know what it is. I can't put my finger on it.
It's one of those things he almost has to explain it, though. Like, how can they explain him not wrestling? I don't really get it. They can't let it go and just pass by. Everybody's going to be like, what the fuck?
Let me ask you a question. When the hell was the last time that someone went in the Hall of Fame at Mania weekend that was capable of wrestling, that didn't wrestle? Like, it's pretty much like Sting, for example, is a recent one. He wrestled. It's pretty much like the ongoing thing that whoever gets inducted... Flair, oh God.
Didn't Flair do it twice or something?
Flair did it like 9 times, but like, it's like, that's the thing, is they get inducted, they have the match, they have this big thing. Now, people that couldn't wrestle, of course, like the Warrior, for example, he didn't get a fucking goddamn match because Warrior's like 60 years old and fucking died 2 days later. But I don't know, like, he almost does have to explain it. Now, this weekend, the canceling the events thing, I don't know if that's a swerve or something. That seems so obvious to me that, I mean, maybe that's the fan inside of me going, oh my God, they canceled it. He has to be coming. But unless he comes out and wins that fucking Rumble, I wouldn't put him in it. I would not have him go in that Rumble unless he's winning it. And he's not going to win it, so.
I don't even think they should put him in the Rumble, for one. I'd like to see it, yes, but like you said, he's not going to win it, so why put him in there?
Well, you'd mark out. Like, do you remember when Perfect entered the Rumble in like 2003 or something? I marked the fuck out big time.
Yeah.
Like, to see like an old guy come back, but yeah, I agree that unless that guy comes in and wins it, then...
The thing is, too, like, they're not going to put somebody in the Hall of Fame that's an active wrestler either. So, once he hits the Hall of Fame, once WrestleMania is over, you're not going to see Angle wrestle. Like if
they usually don't do that.
If he's in the Hall of Fame, he's not gonna wrestle, right? And I mean, I think the only person is probably Flair, maybe.
I don't think he wrestled anymore when he came back after. He went to TNA and made an abortion out of his career for like 3 years. I don't think he wrestled in WWE since like 2008 when he had that match.
So that's what I mean. So I don't think he will let somebody who's in the Hall of Fame be an active wrestler.
Like the only person, like Bret Hart came back and wrestled after he went in, but that wasn't even a match, was it? I don't know what the hell that was.
I don't even really count that. He's not really an active member of the roster.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Like, oh, you mean like he won't come back and have like a Lesnar or Goldberg like wrestling every 3 pay-per-views? And...
Like a feud kind of deal. Like he's not going to come back at Mania and just be like, let's say he wrestles at Mania, then it's not going to continue on. So you can't have him come in, win the Royal Rumble, go on to Mania, headline Mania and all this stuff, and then he's not going to continue on afterwards, because that was just seemed like it was just thrown together to me. Like, I'd want to see more of him, you know what I mean? I'd like to see him do something at Mania, have a match, and like even probably lose and just like give the rub to a younger guy or something, like Flair did with Shawn Michaels. Now Shawn Michaels not much of a younger guy, but
Shawn Michaels was 65 and then.
But he still, he lost, and they had that like it was a really good moment, right, where Flair wanted to lose to somebody who was he taught a lot to and who looked up to him and this kind of stuff. That's the way it should go out. I mean, I think Angle should take on somebody. He mentioned Joe, I think he mentioned Samoa Joe is who, if he said if you come back, who would want to face.
Well, that would be awesome just because of their history in TNA, but WWE won't acknowledge that, so it would take away from it kind of... Like, they got a big history from the early 2000s in TNA, when TNA was actually, like, breaking ground, and they had some awesome fucking matches back then. But, I don't know, the smark in me and the smark in every guy that's the 1.5 people listening to the show right now, and the thousands of people on the internet right now, everybody wants to see him wrestle and have a feud at Mania. Everybody. Just because, like, even if Vince did have the, once you're in the Hall of Fame, like, you break the mold. There's only a certain few people in wrestling you kind of break the mold for. Like, I mean, like, to me, this is silly, but Jericho could easily be in the Hall of Fame right now and still be wrestling. Couldn't he not? Like, I mean, the man's a goddamn legend.
Oh, for sure. I mean, in my opinion, he's been around longer and probably done more than even, like, Edge.
Well, God, yes. Like, the thing is titles in wrestling don't mean anything. We'll agree on that, obviously, right? Like, it's fake. So, fucking Randy Orton's goddamn, like, 14-time world champion. But if you look back at pure entertainment, and like, Edge had a great career, yes. He had all that tag team stuff, and he was innovative, and they broke the mold with the Hardy Boys and Dudleys and all that stuff, and then he went to a great single. But Jericho has been 25 years plus, but it'd be a shame. That's all I can say about Angle. I'm glad he's in. It would be an absolute shame to me if he is able to work a match, which I think he is, and he gets inducted the night before WrestleMania. He hasn't been seen in almost 12 years. It would be an absolute, almost, as Trump would say, it would be a disaster to not have him wrestle at WrestleMania. Another thing is, too, throw all that shit out the window. It's WrestleMania. Like, that's the whole point of WrestleMania is supposed to be silly shit like this. Like, even if he comes back and he can't do what he used to do, man, throw people on the card. Get people to buy the show. It's WrestleMania. Like, if someone could give me one good reason why that man should not wrestle at WrestleMania, I'll listen, but I can't think of one. He's got to, almost. Like, it just seems like a total waste if he doesn't it?
Well, there is no reason. It's just Vince and whatever Vince got in his mind, I guess, that he doesn't want Angle to wrestle on the show. I like I said, and you said a minute ago, I don't think anybody knows. It's just something behind the scenes that went on or is going on that they can't just agree on.
No,
so,
I don't know.
Well, we'll move on to something else for now. You mentioned your little thing, and I guess we'll go to one of my things that I'd like to mention.
It's all about me.
What?
Sorry.
Oh. This is a test.
Big cast, fake test.
I'd like to talk about Kenny Omega versus Okada at Wrestle Kingdom 11. Can we talk about that for a minute? So, if anybody doesn't know what I'm talking about, there was a match between Kenny Omega and Yushin Okada at Wrestle Kingdom 11 in New Japan that Dave Meltzer gave a 6-star rating to. Now, I listened to a podcast with Dave Meltzer night before last with Kenny Omega. They said it's the second 6-star match ever.
Oh, really?
That's what they
There was
said.
another one?
Now, I don't know what the other 6-star match was. I haven't looked it up yet, but that's what they said. Because they said Kenny Omega was one of only 4 men to have a 6-star match.
One of 4 men to have a 6-star match.
Yeah. So that leads me to believe there's another match that had 6 stars.
Obviously, yeah.
I love the match. There's a couple of things, like, now the big thing is if Kenny Omega is going to the WWE. Because now that the match is over, and Wrestle Kingdom 11's over, immediately Kenny Omega said he's stepping away from New Japan for a little bit, and he's reassessing his career and this kind of stuff. So immediately everybody's like, oh, well, like, he's going to WWE, he's going to WWE. So this is what I want to talk about a little bit, because I've been listening to a lot of his stuff lately. Now, I've always been a big fan of Kenny Omega. Now, I've never really raved about him before, just because nobody really knew who he was. Now, it's not like I sat here and watched hours and hours and hours of Kenny Omega footage, but I've seen some of the funny stuff with him. So, I don't know if you've seen this, but have you seen the Kenny Omega versus the 7-year-old girl?
No.
So, Kenny Omega wrestled a match in New Japan against a 7-year-old girl.
Mm-hmm.
It's friggin' hilarious. The fact that he put off an actual match with a 7-year-old girl is fucking amazing, because they did stuff in the match that was absolutely crazy. It was actually put off like an actual wrestling match. It wasn't a joke. It wasn't anything like that. It was an actual match. He was on Jericho's podcast, and he discussed it, why. And so the reason behind it was that this little girl, she was a gymnast or something in Japan, in the gymnast group in Japan. And they're all big fans of wrestling in Japan, obviously. And so they wanted to write them into the story or into the show a little bit, just to give them some more exposure. So Kenny Omega's like, sure, I'll wrestle this little girl. So if anybody hasn't seen it, go look it up online. It's an excellent match. The stuff he does to that little girl is absolutely crazy. She does like Hurn Karatas and fucking starts like kicking him in the face and stuff. It's crazy. He does what does he do to her? He gives her a big boot in the face at one point. I thought he killed her, but he just made it look good, right? Another match I seen by him was with the Blow Up Doll. So there's a little bit of a story behind that too, because the Blow Up Doll actually became a wrestler in this organization. I think he wrestled for, called DDT, and one of the wrestlers was a Blow Up Doll. It started off as a joke, but then everybody, like Yushin Okada, Yushin Okada, what's his face, was on the CWC. What's his name? The Golden Star, the guy they thought everybody was going to win.
Oh, Ibushi, was it?
Yeah, Kota Ibushi, yeah. Ibushi, he wrestled this doll as well, this blow-up doll, like a sex doll. That's what they were wrestling. Mm-hmm. So, watch that match as well. That's a really good match. So, what Jericho said, which is made a lot of sense, was that ever hear the old adage that they'd wrestle a broomstick and make it look good? Yeah. Well, Kenny Omega can wrestle a sex doll and make it look good. Right? So, I listened to Jericho's podcast. It was a really good podcast, actually. And Kenny Omega was on Taz's podcast, which is another good one. But there's one thing he did say. He said that there's a lot of offers on the table for him. But the thing is, it's not about money. Now, he even said, he's like, listen, I'm not going to be that naive to let everybody think that, like, I don't care about money. He's like, but the thing is, he said he wants to do something to further his career. So he's one of those guys, he's a big wrestling guy, right? And he'll never say he's a wrestling fan, because he said that being a wrestling fan affects being a wrestler. And that's one of the things he said.
That's kind of true.
He said that's a lot of he believes that's what's a lot wrong with a lot of the guys today, is that they act like a wrestling fan thinks a wrestler should act instead of acting like a wrestler. Right?
I would agree with that, yeah.
Yeah, so he seems to have a real good head on his shoulders for the business and whatever else. But he said he wants to go somewhere where he can grow and be himself and be able to be a good character and make his own stamp on the wrestling history, right? So, now, he did say he had an offer on the table that he was leaning towards. That's what he said. So it leads me to believe that he might be going towards WWE, but he was already in WWE's developmental years ago, and they got rid of him.
Well, well, I've seen the match. I agree with pretty much everything you just said, which is a rarity of British show, I guess. But the match itself was, I didn't know what I was going to get myself into, to be honest with you. It's New Japan, and like you said to me in the text, like I'm an old school guy. I like my wrestling and all that stuff. Like I'm like a Southern States kind of wrestling fan, I suppose. And I didn't know what, but I was blown away by it. I thought it was absolutely awesome. If I honestly, I would have to give it 5 stars. I mean, like, you'd have to be silly to sit back. I'd have to be silly to sit back and say like 4 3/4, just because and I don't give anything 5 stars. I never do. But I mean, I'd be lying to myself. Like I'm gonna be, as a wrestling fan, sometimes you have to be completely honest with yourself. The match, like the flow. You mentioned the flow of the match a couple of times to me. The pacing.
Yeah.
It was dead nuts. Like I mean, put it this way, there cannot be wrestling has changed, and there cannot be a better match in 2017 with the style that people wrestle these days in that match. That was absolute perfection. So I love the match. The only other thing is, unless you're CM Punk or Daniel Bryan, you're coming in with that, or AJ. Well, AJ Styles not really. Yeah, Cena keeps mentioning he's an indie guy and all this stuff, but he was exposed a lot to people in TNA. Like they try to shut TNA down like it was nothing. But most people knew AJ Styles. Not a lot of people will know Kenny Omega. But I just kind of want him to keep doing what he's doing. I keep finding myself wanting to look up more stuff he's doing, and I feel like he's just gonna, like we always talk about, he's gonna get stifled. He's gonna get ruined by the system, by the machine. It's like it's like a great rock band that's kicking ass in the '70s and signs a deal with friggin' Columbia, and they say, "I want you to change the sound," and they go, "Well, that's not what we are." Yeah, but they'll sell more records. Okay, and they end up putting out fucking some Def Leppard CD or something. Like, I just feel like he'll become that rock band that, because he's not gonna have a lot of play. He might be a deadly fucking wrestler, but he ain't John Cena and he ain't friggin' Randy Orton. And I don't want him to be ruined, but he's one of the last guys left, isn't he? Like, Vince has snagged everybody, man. He's almost doing, like, him and Triple H are doing an 80s invasion almost of talent for the last 4 or 5 years, and I don't know. I didn't have no exposure to him. I watched that match, and it was awesome. So I want him to come so I can watch him every week, but for the sake of his career, I don't know, man. I think, like, he's making more of an impact not being in WWE. That's the way I see it. Like, as soon as he comes to WWE, he'll get pushed to the moon, and within 6 months, he'll be fucking doing comedy shit with R-Truth. Like, that's how I honestly feel. And there's no proof to tell me otherwise. That's what always happens. Unless you're CM Punk or Daniel Bryan.
Well, that's...
And by the way, Bryan did get fired for choking some fucking cunt with a tie. And CM Punk wasn't the greatest either when he started. They actually just were so good that they broke through.
Well,
so.
CM Punk was in ECW first, so like that tells you right
there. He was
there.
ECW champion, wasn't he?
Well, yeah, eventually. But, I mean, he was still fighting, like, Lashley and Great Khali and
so to you,
Hardcore
like,
Holly
yeah,
and stuff.
Hardcore Holly, yeah. Like, you're a big fan of him, and like I said, we have different philosophies on wrestling at the core, but we like wrestling, and I like good matches, and I did think that match was awesome, but if you're a fan of him, do you want him in WWE? Like, you want to watch him every Monday night or Tuesday night, but do you actually want him to go to WWE? Or would you rather him just par for the course, keep it going the way he's going?
In a perfect world, he would come to the WWE and be allowed to be who he is.
That won't happen.
But it won't happen because you look at, let's say, Gallows and Anderson.
Oh, fuck.
For example.
Don't.
No, I mean, like, in New Japan, they were fucking world destroyers, man. They were the best tag team in all of New Japan. And they come to WWE and they're a fucking joke. Right? So, there's lots of guys like that. Hideo Itami in New Japan.
Yeah, but like,
in Japan, he was a fucking superstar. Comes to WWE, he's just, he's in.
But like, that shit doesn't work.
And yada, yada, yada. You know what I mean? It doesn't really go anywhere.
No, it doesn't work. But it doesn't even work for those guys. Like, Anderson, Gallows are still, to this day, talking about how they were in New Japan and they were big stars in New Japan. That's part of their gimmick, pretty much, is how they were big stars. First of all, nobody cares. But the issue with that is they come across like the fucking guy in high school who had a hot girlfriend and was on the football team was like, oh, back in high school, I was the hot shit. I had the hottest girl. I played football. Friggin' I had all the ladies. Well, what have you done for me lately? That's like what Anderson and Gallows come out the same way as me. He's, oh, back in New Japan, I had it all. What are you doing in WWE, bud? Like, you're not doing anything. You're atrocious on the fucking mic. Like, Anderson and Gallows have potential, yes. But the gimmick, I think they do. But the gimmick is basically, like I said, the high school fucking jock that's 30 years old now telling everyone how good they were 10 years ago. Nobody cares that you rock New Japan. Nobody cares that you were a main eventer over there in the Bullet Club. They don't care. So, do something now. Now, I understand the booking is the reason why they're not doing anything. But,
this is what
I don't know if those guys have... Those guys, I don't know if they have the charisma, even booked correctly, to make it to the very top. Like, Luke Gallows, to me, does not reek of, like, headline WrestleMania. That might piss people off from Japan, like, oh, he's a big star over there. Anderson doesn't look like a guy that headlines WrestleMania. They don't have the charisma, first of all, to do it.
I don't think they are meant to. So, even watching the New Japan stuff, they didn't really say anything because they weren't the leaders. The leader was always Finn Balor, AJ Styles, Kenny Omega. So, the way I believe they should have brought in was they should have come in and been fucking destroyers. They don't have to speak. They don't have to have charisma or whatever. They just come in and they beat people up. And then have AJ Styles speak for him. Or have somebody, you know what I mean? Have them as the muscle behind the headpiece. You know what I mean? That's what I would have done with them. But then they put him in these like comedy acts and this kind of deal. So, as I'm saying, I know that Kenny Omega is that good that he could do that. But I'm afraid they're going to put him in WWE and just... He's going to come off looking like an idiot. Like, just not looking good. Because he can go out there and he can wrestle. Look at Sami Zayn. So, Omega said on the Taz show that one of his favorite matches he ever had was against El Generico. But El Generico is Sami Zayn. So, a guy who can put off a deadly match with Kenny Omega is now a big fucking geek over on Raw who hasn't done nothing in like a year. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, like Sami Zayn, Generico, whatever, was looked at as being one of the best wrestlers in the world at one time, and now what's he doing? Fuck all. Neville, same kind of deal. Only reason he's basically the only good thing in the cruiserweights right now because they gave him turn him heel, but before that he was doing nothing. Man, you look back on some like a couple of years ago, Neville, Pac is what he was called. Back in the Indies, people were raving about this guy. He was fucking excellent, high flyer, innovative, and all this stuff. Now he's just some other guy.
Yeah, it's just
these people are just, I don't know, they're getting wrecked by the machine. Like you said, the WWE machine, they're making them learn their style and their way, right? And
now, their style, unfortunately, is corporate as fuck, first of all. And all the sponsors and advertising and safe, because it's not entirely WWE's fault, unfortunately. Because this is a deeper problem here. And the problem is not, all of a sudden, like in 2006 or 7, WWE decided to go PG, and they decided to start drug testing and stop chair shots to the head and everything. There's a problem is that if you follow anything in the news, you see that football players, hockey players, anything sports related is under a microscope. And it's not just because they wanted to change, I don't know if they did or not, but it's hard for them to produce the product that they want to. I'm sure they want to go out there and beat each other's fucking face off like Cactus Jack did in fucking 1998 or something. But unfortunately, you just can't do that anymore because everything is criticized so much. On the stick, like on the mic. You used to be able to go out and say, I'll whip your ass, you son of a bitch. Come here, I'm watching Attitude Era right now on WWE Network. It's like watching Archie Bunker in the 70s, man. Like, you cannot say what they're saying right now because that show will be... Some prick will go on Twitter and start a petition to get Raw taken off the air, and I swear to God, politically correct, gone mad world we live in, it will be shut down. So, I don't know how much of the problem is WWE's booking and how much it is you're just not allowed to do anything. Like, what can you do? Like, Vince Russo's always on the internet going, bro. When I was in my day, Vince Russo could do anything, couldn't he? In 1998, that was a Jerry Springer era of fucking... wrestling. You could do whatever you wanted because in the late 90s the world was a volatile place. You could do whatever you want. And he booked a great show. Put Vince Russo right now with all the constraints that people have. What can you do? You can't do anything anymore. But that is no. I'm not making an excuse for WWE for all the stuff you're talking about. But I think it's a huge factor. It's just you can't do anything, man. They can't. Like we always complain about the Attitude Era going, oh, it was way better back then, but quite simply, you can't just do that anymore.
Well,
so these guys. Well, it's a different time, but the guys that rise to the top, the cream rises to the top, and there's less of them these days. And the reason why there's less of them is because back in the Attitude Era, you could be anybody and get a huge pop. Anybody. Godfather. No talent. Charles Ray. No talent. Huge pop. Bigger pop than people get, bigger pop than AJ Styles probably gets. If you watch it, they're huge pops. These days, it's harder to become a star, man, because not only do you have to be liked by Vince McMahon and be part of the machine, you also got to find that niche where it's like, okay, I can't go do this, I can't do that, I can't do this, and you still got to rise to the top. And it happens once every, 5 years. And Daniel Bryan was the last one. CM Punk was the one before him. And pretty much Orton, Batista, and Cena was the ones before him. It doesn't happen much. And I don't know how much a fault it is of Vince McMahon, really. You know what I read? Actually, just I'll switch gears for a second. Triple H has taken over, and you know how Batista came back in 2014?
Yeah.
You remember that disaster, right?
Yeah, Blue Batista?
I was reading I was reading an interview with Batista yesterday, and he said, I want to come back as a heel, and I want it to be at SummerSlam. He came back to Rumble, correct me if I'm wrong. I think it was a Rumble. And he went to WrestleMania, remember?
Because he won
disaster.
He won the Rumble.
He won the Rumble, didn't he? He actually won it, didn't he?
And they booed the shit out of him.
Yeah, so he wanted to come back 8 months later. He's like, I told Vince and Triple H I want to come back as SummerSlam because Guardians of the Galaxy was coming out in August 2014. He's like, so I wanted to come back at the same time that this movie was coming out, and it was going to be the biggest movie in the fucking world. And I figured, let's amalgamate this. Let's make it this huge thing where I come back, I'm in Guardians of the Galaxy, blah, blah, blah. And he's like, Triple H looked right at me and laughed. He said he laughed in his face and said, we don't even know if that's going to be a good movie or a hit. And when I read that, I went, people talk about Vince being out of touch. Triple H didn't think that Guardians of the Galaxy's first movie, Marvel, which is a cash cow? What Marvel movie fucking does not do good at the box office? He looked at him and said, we don't even know if that's going to be a hit, and shut the idea down. Completely out of fucking touch.
What?
That's silliness to me. And Batista said, he actually said, I am not lying. He laughed at me when I said that. He said, we don't even know if it'll be a good movie. Have you not been alive the last 10 years and watched Marvel literally take over the box office? That's the stuff that's just...
But they'll have Shawn Michaels come out and talk about the resurrection of Gavin Stone, or whatever the fuck it is.
Which, did you read the reviews on that bad boy?
Yeah. That's what I mean, so,
Guardians of the Galaxy, Johnny. Listen, I'm not a huge comic book guy. I'm not a huge superhero guy. But I am I have a heartbeat. I have blood running through my veins. And I watch those movies, and I like them. Guardians of the Galaxy, by the way, just should have. It was an awesome fucking movie, in my opinion. So, for him to laugh at him, it's just, I don't know, I got sidetracked here a little bit,
but I read that as well. I read that article as well. It's funny, because he basically said, WWE screwed him. And I read that before, how they said that he wanted to have that, crossover or whatever. And it really makes no sense because... Well, for WWE, like you said, they're out of touch. I think almost all of them are out of touch. And we had this conversation last night, and we talked about the writing and the characters and stuff. So I'd like to touch on that for a little bit because, for example, Big Show comes back there Monday night and has a stare down with Braun Strowman. And then Braun Strowman walks away from him, and backs down. So... How does that make any sense to any wrestling fan anywhere? Maybe a child, yes. Big Show's big. That makes him better. No, it doesn't make him better. He's lost to everybody. So, if that's the way it's going to be, Big Show should be champion forever. He should have been champion for the past 10 years, man. So...
since fucking 1998, shouldn't he?
Yeah, so it makes no sense to me. I think they should have wrote it as Strowman stood face to face with him. right? Like nose to nose, and they kind of stared each other down, and the refs came out and like part of them, you know what I mean, got between them and stuff. That means that shows that Strowman's not backing down. He's not scared of him. He doesn't care how big or bad he is or whatever else, because he's going to be, you know, he's going to beat the shit out of him. He's fucking 20 years younger than him or whatever else, right?
What a concept. Like, what you just said was the simplest booking I've ever heard in my entire life, yet effective.
Yeah, it doesn't hurt either one of them. It makes both of them look strong.
Why not just have them come down with like 6 referees and say, no, this is not happening, and then the fans go, holy fuck, Big Show's back, but Strowman didn't back down. Oh my god, can't wait to see when they actually lock up.
Yeah, or have like Mick Foley come out and be like, this is not happening here on Raw.
No,
save
don't
this.
bring him out, please.
No, but like that kind of deal. Save it for the Royal Rumble, yada, right? But that's what I was saying last night. They're not writing a story with the characters in mind. They're just writing the story for the sake of writing the story. There's no...
Well, when you hit on that last night.
Yeah, there's no rhyme or reason. So, I mean, you're writing a story, like I said to you, James Bond, right? You're not going to have James Bond just become a pussy at halfway through the story and back down from every fight and like, I'm not going to do that mission.
Or a complete moron.
Yeah.
Or all of a sudden he turns into a complete fucking idiot that is fooled by every trick the villain does.
Yeah, it doesn't make any sense whatsoever. The character is that he's suave and smart and, you know what I mean? He's a spy. He's, you know, everything when it comes to the story. The story's basically written around his character, not the other way around. His character's not written about the story.
The first Bond movies, every one of them were written around James Bond. Yes.
Yeah.
There was not. It wasn't a script that they said, "Oh, let's make the lead guy James Bond." It was James Bond's the lead guy. Let's write a script around him.
So, to me, when they were writing it last night, they were like, "So Big Show's going to come out, and we're going to have Braun Strowman back down from him and make Big Show look strong." Well, that's good for Big Show. What about Braun Strowman? How does that make him look? Big Show doesn't need to look strong. Big Show's fucking Big Show. Like, I don't care how much he laughs at him or whatever else or anybody. He's a fucking big dude, and he's been in the business for fucking ever. And you don't need to make him look strong. Strowman's up and coming. They're trying to build him as a big dude and the next big thing or whatever. Maybe you should try to make him look strong. I didn't understand it whatsoever.
No, it's horrible. Well, like I said,
the writing was absolutely shit.
He backed down from Lesnar 2 weeks ago too.
Yeah, man, I don't know, man. It makes no sense to me.
But this is classic fucking WWE. They build this guy up for the last like 4 months, and like I said to you last night, just to add to it, is he doesn't have a conscience. He doesn't have any. Break it out. Wherewithal. The guy is just a killing, wrecking machine. Whoever he sees, he kicks ass. Is that not his fucking character? That's what it has been since like October. And then he's in the match, in the stare down show, and he walks away. He's like, no, it's going to be on my terms. Like, all of a sudden, this guy starts thinking about stuff. Like, oh no, I only want this match on a certain night, and I only want to make this. That's not your character, Strowman. Like, you don't go into an altercation with someone going, well, it's on my terms tonight. Strowman takes no DQ, last man standing, steel cage. He'll take anything because he's a nutcase. I thought that was his character until the last 2 weeks, where now all of a sudden he's like picking and choosing his battles. When the hell did he start picking and choosing his battles? Isn't he friggin' the same guy that was booked the last 3 months to take on anyone, anything, and actually demanded himself? He would go in and say, what was that gimmick he had? Like,
he wants competition.
Or else was the thing. He's like, you better give me this or else. Like, that was what he kept saying every week. And all of a sudden, yeah, that pissed me off a lot.
Yeah, the writing doesn't make any sense. It goes back to they're writing him as a heel because that's how heels are supposed to act. You know, that's what it seems like to me. A heel doesn't fight all the time like that. A heel demands matches at certain times and stuff, but he's not that kind of heel. There's different types of heel, man. He doesn't have to be the same kind of heel as Dolph Ziggler or Kevin Owens or Chris Jericho or somebody. He can be a different kind of heel. But I don't know if the writing is deep enough for that. That's what I think anyway. I think the writing really lacks in the whole show, really. SmackDown's a little better. Even that, I see it's kind of wavering sometimes.
Last night wasn't the greatest, was it?
No, and this one thing.
Jobber Central is all that was.
This is another thing I want to talk about. I was listening to a couple of What Culture Wrestling things last couple of days, and they mentioned something really funny that got me thinking. So, you remember how Raw ended with Undertaker, Lesnar, and Goldberg in the ring in this big stare down, and then they went off the air, right? Can you imagine being in the audience for that? So once the show goes off the air, what do the wrestlers do? So the three of the boys are just going to basically be staring at each other. They're going to walk out. Three of them are just going to get out of the ring and just walk away. That really doesn't make any sense now, does it? It must look super awkward to somebody in the crowd who's like, oh, these three guys are going to fight. And all of a sudden, out of nowhere, the three of them just turns around and walks away from each other.
Yeah.
How stupid is that? What I would have done is I would have had Goldberg in the ring, Lesnar on the stage, and Undertaker maybe on the Titantron or something. Or even have Undertaker up in the crowd or up in the stands or something. They shouldn't have been that close to each other, I don't think.
I don't know. I would have just.
I liked it. I liked that.
Pure. I didn't mind it either, but
I liked that.
I would have had the three of them kind of looking at each other, and then all of a sudden they start getting physical, and they start fighting each other, and they go outside the ring something, because it's the three big dogs, and the referees come down and try to separate them. They can't separate them, so who has to come down and help? The wrestlers that are in the Royal Rumble also. So they come down, they try to start separating each other. All of a sudden it turns into just chaos, and Raw goes off the air, and it's oh, holy fuck, I want to see the Royal Rumble.
Yeah, but
instead, it just ended. I did like the ending.
I did too, but like I said, can you imagine if you're there in live attendance watching it? It must be mad awkward that the three of them just walks out of the ring and fucking walks up the ramp and just nothing really happens. It would almost seem like a stage play that ended early. You know what I mean? Everybody just walks off stage and it's mad awkward and everybody's like, what the fuck's going on?
Well, that's all the problems with wrestling that we see. A couple of things I'd like to hit on that are actually good these days, which I'd like to just put in some positive stuff here. Styles and Cena feud has been fantastic in my opinion.
Oh yeah.
Can't wait for the match. The promos, Styles has gotten so good on a promo. Cena's always Cena. Last night he gave it to Styles pretty good.
But Cena's coming off as a heel. He comes off really heelish, man.
He's talking exact same character again.
Yeah,
he's going back to recognize, he starts talking like he's a gangster rapper. He's gone back to 2004. And Styles, he's fed it to Cena pretty good the last few weeks too, but great.
I think
it's the best storyline they got. It's besides the Rumble match. I'm looking forward to that match the most by far.
You want to use that as a segue into our predictions? Because I was about to ask you who you predicted was going to win.
Well, we can't start off with that match. You got to start with the losers, fucking Cesaro and Sheamus versus Gallows and Anderson.
All right, so yeah, we'll do our predictions because we're about 50.
Who gives a fuck is the answer to that one.
We're about 50 minutes. We're about 50 minutes in. I'd say by the time we get to our predictions now, it'll probably be 20 minutes. So, in all honesty, in that match,
okay.
Hold
on. Let's go first one.
Gallows and Anderson.
Yeah, that's the one.
Yeah. In all honesty, offsetting how shit the match is going to be and how many times I've seen it in the last fucking 4 or 5 weeks, if Gallows and Anderson don't win, then I honestly don't care about them anymore. And I really don't care about the tag team division on Raw because it absolutely sucks. To me, to have... And I'm not saying that because I'm a Gallows Anderson mark or whatever. But there has to be some kind of competition. So if New Day lost and didn't even bother to go back for the title or nothing, they just kind of...
they just gave up.
Gave up on it, which kind of seems kind of weird to me. But
they joined the Titus brand, but...
So, let's say that Cesaro and Sheamus beats Gallows and Anderson for the title, right? And keeps their title, I should say. What happens next? Who do they get?
Raw's tag team division shit.
Let
me ask you a question. So we've seen Cesaro and Sheamus versus Gallows and Anderson in every configuration known to fucking man in the last 3 months. There is no end to this. What happens if Luke Gallows and Carl Anderson win? So, do we get another 2 months of Cesaro and Sheamus going back for the title? To me, this is the one match that has no happy ending. Because me, as a smart yet still casual fan, because I still get caught up in it when I'm watching it. If Luke Gallows and Carl has a win, I don't care. I don't care at all. You can't book me those guys as shit for the last 8 months, and as soon as they win the belt in the Alamo Dome in front of 40,000 people, go, wow, they're badass. Yeah, Carl Anderson, Luke Gallows. Like, no, they suck. It's in my head now. It's already been planted in my head that they suck. You know why? Because you booked them like shit for the last 8 months. So even if they win, I don't care. I think they're shit. Because that's what they are. They're horrible on the mic. They have good to average matches. And they have no charisma at all. They're like two Shelton Benjamins coming out there. And not only that, Luke Gallows, motherfucker, he glitches and botches like no man, like ever. So, I don't care if they win. And I don't want Cesaro or Sheamus to win because that's already I didn't even like it in its peak. And I still don't like it now. Like you alluded to a couple minutes ago, the tag team division is shit. Anyway, who's your prediction?
I'm going to go with Gallows and Anderson.
Oh, God. You think that... Okay, let me get this straight. This is not a pre-show, I gotta remind you. They're going to win their first ever tag team title on a fucking pre-show.
Yeah.
I'm going to go with Gallows and Anderson, too. I think they're going to win.
Yeah,
I think it's sad state of affairs that they win on a pre-show, by the way. But...
Well,
the tag team title match is on a pre-show, which is a disgrace to fucking everything. I'm going to go with Gallows and Anderson.
Well, at least they got a tag team title match on the show.
Oh my god. Yeah, I guess. Okay, so we're on the same page so far, 1 for 1. Sasha Banks and Nia Jax, they're actually having a match? I didn't even notice this happened.
Yeah.
I thought Sasha Banks was hurt.
She's back again now. Another one I don't really even care about, but I'm thinking Nia Jax... it makes more sense for Nia Jax to win.
Sasha Banks has a nice ass.
Yeah, but storyline-wise, I think that Nia Jax wins. They're going to make Sasha Banks the sympathetic babyface who's trying to climb that hill and get back and beat her, and it always worked before. There's another reason, but we'll come to that one later because it's another match that's happening on the card as well.
This is a match that I give no fucks about.
Yeah, nobody does, I don't think.
So actually, the first 2 matches, I think this is going to be a decent show. Although, based on the last couple of years of the Rumble, which is my favorite pay-per-view, by the way, I always think they'll pull in a good show for the Rumble. 15 and 16 was fucking worse than In Your House, Beware a Dog. But I think this year is going to be okay. But okay, so Becky Lynch, Nikki Bella, and Naomi versus Alexa Bliss, Mickie James, and Natalya. Okay, who gives a fuck?
Yeah.
I like Natty and Nikki.
I'm going to say the heels are winning it.
Yeah, me too. I'm on the same page. We're 3 for 3 here.
We're not going to bring Mickie James back and have her lose her first match.
You gotta start disagreeing with me to make for good fucking entertainment here because we're agreeing on everything. That's not good for the audience. 1.5 people. We gotta disagree to make it interesting. But I agree with you. Heels are winning. And just a shout out to Natty and Nikki too, which has been hilariously entertaining for the last 3 weeks.
Yeah.
It's the fucking most hilarious feud.
Mostly because of Natalya, actually, because she's just you're gonna die alone like Brett.
But when she was talking about how she was freaking old, basically old whore and Cena, and the only reason why she's here is because she banged him, and I was just like, this is hilarious. And then she popped out though, you're gonna die
Then she alluded to Nikki giving Brett sexual favors or something, didn't she?
Oh, yeah.
On Twitter or something?
Because they took a picture on Twitter?
Yeah, she's like, I wonder what you had to do to get that picture or something.
Yeah, okay. So that feud has been... Actually, and a shout out to Nikki's spear to the table on fucking Natalya last week on SmackDown. Which, like I said to you, it took Charlotte 4 times to put Sasha to a table. Nikki just come in fuck this. That was a vicious shot to the table. And it looked mad real. I was like, wow. Remember I was texting you? I was like, this is fucking retarded. So, shout out to that feud. So the heels win. I agree right now. Rich Swann versus Neville. Neville wins this easy. I don't even need to talk about that. Rich Swann can go back, Flash Funk or whoever the fuck he is. Brodus Clay. I don't even know.
Again, we agree because I think the best thing for the Cruiserweight division right now is for Neville to win.
Well, you need a shot in the arm, don't they?
Yeah.
Which you don't have it
which
right
they
now.
could, because I can see it coming, because Austin Aries is soon going to be ready to go. Once he comes back, and apparently Hideo Itami's going to the Cruiserweight division as well, from what I heard. So that's three really good guys in a Cruiserweight division that can really put on some good shows there. Their problem is they need to put it on before SmackDown. It needs to be taped or shown or something before SmackDown. Having it after SmackDown is absolutely brutal. The crowd's dead. Nobody fucking cares. Everybody wants to go home out of it. Even if they do put on a good match, their crowd's just like, buddy, I don't care about old Mustafa Ali and I don't care about these guys. Like, I want to go home and go to bed. Like, I gotta work tomorrow. This is Tuesday night. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, I gotta work tomorrow. This is Tuesday, buddy. Like, I gotta get up like 5 o'clock and go slang some bricks up on a wall somewhere. Like,
I don't even watching fucking Tony Nese versus Mustafa Ali. Like, come on.
Oh, they got the worst time slot. Like, they have the worst time slot in the history of wrestling, really.
Yeah, and then
because it doesn't work.
I think it almost pisses other fans off, even people who don't even like. I don't even mind it. Yes, throw it on or whatever, but it actually is an hour between SmackDown and Talking Smack, which makes no sense.
See, this is how they ruined it. Wasn't Talking Smack like the best thing?
Yes.
Right after SmackDown.
Yeah.
I was actually like Chris White 1998, like looking forward to that. I used to look forward to Talking Smack. And what did he do, Johnny? He had to go and shag it up, which in mainlander regular person terms means fuck it up. Like, he just had to fuck it up.
That's what I mean. So you almost gotta wait. You gotta wait an hour between SmackDown and Talking Smack, which makes no sense. So again, for a wrestling fan like you and me, it kind of pisses me off because I'm like, I gotta sit through 205 Live to get to Talking Smack. You know what I mean? Even if I don't want to watch it, I still got it on there.
I haven't watched one episode. I haven't even watched 1 second of it.
Well,
you know why?
Like,
because
I throw it on. Like, I just puts it on because there's nothing else to put on. Really.
I can't watch it because on Raw they're fucking shit. So it's like, man, if they're shit only in 2 segments of Raw, like if their sample version is shit, then it's like an appetizer. If their appetizer is shit, then the whole course, the whole fucking main meal must be complete shit. So until they do something on Raw with their little appetizer that they give me, ain't no fucking way I'm gonna tune in to watch and get the whole meal.
So
like,
here's the problem. Here's the problem with the Cruiserweight division. I want to take a second.
All right, we're getting off track here. Now you gotta calm down.
Give me 1 minute to talk about it for a second. So I want to talk about what made the Cruiserweight division big and innovative back in like 96, let's say 95, 96, when WCW and ECW had the like craziest cruiserweights: Rey Mysterio, Eddie Guerrero, Chris Jericho, Ultimo Dragon, Psychosis, Juventud Guerrera. These guys, what made it good? The fact that these guys are going out and doing crazy shit that nobody's seen before. The flips, and even in matches with like Dean Malenko and Eddie Guerrero, there's still some flips in it. You know what I mean? There's still something there for everybody. So when I watch it on Raw now, and you got Tony Nese versus I don't know, fucking Drew Gulak. There's no flips. There's no nothing. There's just a regular match with nobody on it. So the only times I'm ever interested in the cruiserweights is when they're doing flashy shit. Because guess what?
Yeah, that's the whole point.
They're fucking cruiserweights. That's the whole point. So if I wanted to see a regular wrestling match, guess what, boy? I'll watch the bigger guys do a regular wrestling match. Like, it makes no sense.
Diving through the fucking ropes don't count as a cruiserweight move anymore.
No,
okay?
No.
Let's just diving through the second rope
like, look
into the barricade.
For example, like Neville does like the Red Arrow, right? Crazy move. Mustafa Ali does the reverse 450 splash. Crazy move.
That is nice. That's nice.
Shooting star presses. And this is what you want to see, man. I don't want to see some guy doing like an armbar as a finisher. Like, that's bullshit.
Not cruiserweights.
No, that's bullshit. I want to see some guy doing a fucking 850 splash on the body. You know what I mean? Like, you want to see something fucking crazy. And that's why I think
it was how they got over. Like, in WCW, you had Hogan and fucking Flair going out there in a steel cage match and literally almost having a goddamn heart attack halfway through the match. And then the second match was Jericho versus fucking Psychosis. And the boys were fucking gone mad. Yeah. So that's why I got over it. These days,
that's what I mean.
But the thing is the main event talent and the bigger guys, which, by the way, a bigger guy in wrestling these days, in case anybody just tuned in, means 5'9", 180 fucking pounds. Because there is no such thing as a bigger guy. bigger guys are still an attraction. You will see it when Braun Strowman and the Big Show came face to face. How that crowd just literally stood up. They don't do that for a lot of things.
It needs to
you
be
will
done.
see that for Brock Lesnar when Braun Strowman came together a couple weeks ago. It shows that bigger guys and Vince's philosophy, even though Vince is there to touch fucking old man, it still works. There's nothing like in wrestling like Gorilla Monsoon said infamously, the immovable object, irresistible force. There's nothing better than that. That's the issue, is that the main eventers, like if you watch Seth Rollins versus Sami Zayn, now that is supposed to be a mid-card to main event match on Raw, getting in the Rumble. They're wrestling like the fucking cruiserweights, man. That's what they're doing. Like, this is one of those things that is not even an opinion, really. I think this is just a fact. They wrestle like fucking cruiserweights. They're diving, they're flipping, they're super kicking, they're doing all kinds of shit. So when the cruiserweight guys come out, this ain't 1997 anymore. Unfortunately, this is the way wrestling's gone. Or maybe fortunately if you like it. I'm not here to harp on anybody. Everybody has different tastes. But the cruiserweights, they literally need to go climb up the fucking outside the building, fucking bore a hole through the fucking roof of it, and come down with a 1750 splash through the middle of the ring to stand out. Because everybody else is doing it. Every single match on Raw you see, even Roman Reigns, the guy's flying over the top fucking rope all the time. I'll never forget when Undertaker went over the top rope for the first time. I think it was WrestleMania 14 with Kane. It was like we're probably at Jungle Jim's, which is a restaurant in Newfoundland we used to go watch pay-per-views at, and we literally probably went like, what the fuck just happened? These days, Roman Reigns like 6'4", guy's flying over the top rope, man. Like he's jumping over the top rope like goddamn Neville. So it's like, it's not even that it's their fault. It's just that's the way wrestling's gone. That is a wrestling match now, and that's what wrestling is. So you watch a cruiserweight come on after Rollins and Zayn, guys are doing the same fucking thing. It's the same match, and I agree 100% with you that it doesn't stand out, does it?
Yeah,
their matches don't stand out.
That's why it's dying, in my opinion. They needs to find something to stand out from everybody else. So, all right, so we'll move on. That was our little rant, our side rant. So Neville wins. What's the next one?
Charlotte Flair versus Harry Back Bailey.
So, to allude to what I was talking about earlier, I think that Bailey wins this one.
No, not a chance.
I think Bailey beats Charlotte's streak. And that's why I said Nia Jax was going to be Sasha Banks, because they won't have Sasha and Bailey win, and they won't have Nia Jax and Charlotte win. They're not going to have two heels win. They're not going to have two faces win.
Ooh, it's getting juicy now. Not a fucking chance. She wins. Not a chance.
I think so.
She's got Charlotte Flair's on a roll that they're going to build. When wrestling promoters get in streak mode, they like to run that shit until it becomes epic. They did it with Undertaker. They did it with Goldberg. They always do it. They did it with fucking Tatanka, for God's sakes, in '94. They did it with Ludwig Borger. They take streaks. Charlotte Flair's on this pay-per-view streak. Yeah, the crowd is behind Bailey, but they're not 100% behind Bailey. Like, she's over, but she's not, like, crazy over. Until she get crazy over, not a chance she beats Charlotte Flair fucking Rumble. I don't think. That's just my opinion.
I don't really get the whole pay-per-view streak. I understand she's unbeaten at pay-per-views, but...
I think she is beaten, actually. I think that's made up, Johnny, to be honest with you.
But then, she loses on Raw, so that makes no sense. So she can only win on pay-per-views? It doesn't seem very good.
No, the storyline is... It's like a good athlete, like Michael Jordan. She shows up for the big game. Yeah, the big match. So when the shit's on the line...
But
she cruises through the rest of it.
Her title is on the line at Raw, and she loses, but then she'll win.
Well, I like this.
I don't know.
We disagreed. And at least we have this on audio file. Well, I don't Bailey is over, but she's not. They kind of kill her, but she's horrible on promos.
I agree with what you're saying there. I got a funny feeling they're just gonna give it to her and then do the same thing they do with Sasha Banks. Charlotte will just take it back. I honestly believe that by this time next year, Charlotte's going to be a 7-time women's champion.
Oh, God. Don't.
Because I think
that's something that we disagree on.
They're going to fast track her to winning 16 women's titles so she can beat her
daddy. Yeah, I think so. She's going to be like her daddy.
Yeah.
And by the way, just a shout out to how horrible the storyline's been. I don't want to harp on fucking everything, but this Charlotte Flair Bailey storyline Bayley was killed before the storyline started. Anyone who doesn't watch wrestling, in October, November-ish, she was getting pinned on Raw by goddamn fucking like jobbers, I'm pretty sure. So all of a sudden, Sasha gets injured and backs out, and now Bayley's like this new. Bayley was basically what we were talking about with Omega earlier and all these guys. Like, she ended up losing to like in 6-man tags and tag team matches and singles matches. She was losing a bunch of matches. She came in super hot, super over. And she's over still, but she ain't as over as she was like in September when she came in, because I just can't. I think Vince got a hard on for Charlotte, man. Like, this whole storyline they're building, I think it's building to like. I think they're in on something here where it's going to be like they wouldn't talk about the pay-per-view streak unless they were planning on doing something with it. Like, why bring it up constantly unless it's the thing that they're trying to basically recreate, like the Undertaker and stuff. It just would make no sense to talk about it. Like, they bring it up every fucking week. And then just go to Royal Rumble and lose to Bayley, who's, like, kind of over. It just wouldn't make any sense to me. But, whatever, I guess. Owens versus Roman Reigns.
I'm going to say...
That's a tough one, eh?
Yeah, that's a tough one because... They talked a lot about the shark cage bullshit, and I got a funny feeling Jericho's gonna find some way to drop something down like what Paul
a weapon or something.
Yeah, like Paul Elric did their Takeover Toronto for.
Remember that crane at Takeover Toronto?
That was mad weird. I wonder if they're gonna have that at Royal Rumble. I hope they do.
I think it was made of polystyrene. I don't even think it was a real metal. It
wasn't even connected to the chain. I got pictures of it and everything. It's honestly just like cardboard boxes spray painted, but and just taped together.
Anyway,
but
it's a tough one
because they kept talking about how Jericho can't help him and all this stuff. But and now they just made it a no DQ, so that kind of on top of that still leads me to believe that Jericho's going to help Owens win or something like that. But I can't not see Reigns losing. But yeah. I don't know. I'm gonna go.
Tough one.
I'm gonna go Owens.
It's it's the only thing in the middle of this tornado that is the shitstorm of the WWE. You find this is why we still watch, right? Because this pay-per-view has me. We're getting to the matches now that have me. We went through 5 matches earlier, and they're all fairly simple to predict.
And we didn't care about most of them.
But now we're getting to the point where it's kind of getting confusing, isn't it?
Yeah, and that's why I'm saying I think I'm gonna go with Owens. For one, I want Owens to win, so that's where I'm gonna really bring that in, because at this point I'm getting to the fan point where I want Owens to win, right? And I can't really tell you who's gonna win based on my knowledge of wrestling, so I'm just gonna go with what I think who I'd like to win. How about that?
Okay, so you're going into just what I try to do. And you try to do, obviously, on a week-to-week basis, which is forget the internet, shut it out. It's a blackout. Just go as a fan.
Yeah.
Like a fan.
So that's why I'm saying Owens, because knowing WWE and knowing Vince and everything else, Reigns will probably win. But I want Owens to win, and there's a few things there that kind of leads me to believe that he might win somehow. So... But that being said, Owens has probably had the worst title run of anybody in history since probably it's up there with Rey Mysterio.
It's horrible.
Because
he's had a horrible run. The only thing that he has going for him is he'll look back in 20 years and say he held it from, especially in this stage and age for his goddamn hot potato, he's held it from basically SummerSlam with the next night or whatever till the Rumble, which is a long time these days. But it's been a horrible run.
Well, because he can't win a match without Jericho helping him. So that's horrible right there just for a champion.
Oh, it's just, you can't, we don't even, let's not even get into the booking Kevin Owens. Honestly, that's another podcast almost. It's just,
okay,
the world champion.
What,
but I'm going to go, I don't know,
what's your prediction here?
I don't know. You remember, didn't you give a prelude earlier to the Sasha Banks Nia Jax match with the Bayley Charlotte match?
Yeah, and that's I was thinking the same thing you're thinking.
Yeah, now you know where I'm going with this, right?
Yeah, the styles and.
So, no, I don't want to give away my Rumble pick, so I don't want to. Yeah, there's two parts of me right now. There's the one part that says it's WrestleMania season, and there ain't no goddamn way that Vince McMahon is going into WrestleMania with Kevin Owens as champion.
No.
Ain't gonna happen. Then there's the other part of me that says it's WrestleMania, Roman Reigns got to be the champion, but he's had this will be his third straight year. And it's like, it's not working, and maybe Vince is finally starting to go like, okay, we'll give Roman Reigns somebody else. Because I heard, hot take here, I don't have hot take music, today, that the Raw after Royal Rumble is being advertised as Strowman versus Reigns, and they might be going that direction. This is hot take off the presses. They might be going towards Strowman Reigns for Mania. So, but that's where I'm divided. Like, I'm the same as you, Johnny. Like, fuck. Roman Reigns is Roman Reigns. Vince loves him. Wants to suck his dick. He wants to cup the balls and swallow the gravy. He wants all of Roman Reigns' fucking shit. But do you really see Vince going to fucking Mania 33 with Kevin Owens as his champion?
No.
So I'm confused. But anyway, I'm picking Kevin Owens.
He can lose it between now and Mania.
Yeah, well, I don't know. I'm picking Kevin Owens. I don't know why. This makes no sense. The fact you picked Owens also makes no sense. Like, we are being caught up in casual fan material, I think, then. Like, reality is Roman Reigns probably winning that goddamn belt. But I'm picking Kevin Owens anyway, just because.
Well,
I don't know.
I hate Roman Reigns for one, so.
I know, but you're on a podcast and you're internet smart. You're supposed to think not as a fan.
Yeah, but what's the next one?
Well, we're on the same page on that one too.
What's Styles and Cena's next?
That's a tough one too. Like, it's a good pay-per-view, Johnny, isn't it?
Yeah.
To all the fans out there, to our 1.5 listeners, it's an interesting show because I don't know what the fuck is going on. I really don't, and it's not very often that wrestling confuses me because we pretty much just sit here every night and text each other going, "Yeah, that's gonna happen. Yeah, that's gonna happen. Yeah." I'm confused. What do you think about this one?
I think the second half of the Royal Rumble is going to be like leaps and bounds better than the first half. But
first half's horrible.
And this one is another really hard one, man, because you look at it. There's a lot of different ways to look at it. So Cena wins. He ties Ric Flair, right?
Mm-hmm.
So did they pull the trigger on that? Did they pull the trigger and make Cena like?
They haven't been talking about it much. That's what's making me think they won't do it.
Right? So do they pull the trigger and make Cena basically tied for the best champion of all time? You know what I mean? Like, I know
Johnny, they haven't been selling it, have they?
No.
Like, it comes up every now and then in commentary, but if they were going to do it, I would think they'd pull the trigger on it and be talking about it like every fucking week.
Yeah, and then I'm thinking to myself, like, do they just have John Cena at Mania in a big profile match instead of like a title match? So, for example, I know it probably won't happen, but for example, like a John Cena Taker, right? Like, that doesn't need a title to
that match needs that needs to happen, by the way, which it won't, but that needs to happen.
Well, let's say something like that. That doesn't need the title to be big, right? It's just what it is. Or listen to this. Did we talk about this before? Or I might have heard somebody on the internet talk about this before. Imagine Cena versus Angle in Angle's last match, seeing that Cena's first match was against Angle.
It'd be interesting.
So maybe something like that. You wouldn't even need the title to be involved. I almost got the same argument with that you just have with Owens. Can you see Vince having the World Championship, which is even to me is more prestigious than the Universal title, obviously.
Gotcha.
Can you see him having like AJ Styles, the Internet Darling, going into WrestleMania as your champ?
Oh yeah, big time. AJ Styles is over as fuck, dude.
He's
not Internet Darling.
But like
no, he's not Internet Darling. AJ Styles is over with everybody.
I know.
I honestly think that.
I honestly think it too, but they do a lot of times
because
like look at the promo last night when he was like, John Cena couldn't handle on the Indies, and he was like, I wasn't built for the Indies, and I was built for times like this, and basically I'm better than you because I didn't.
Yeah, but like wrestling fans have a short memory. Like the last 3 weeks on promos, AJ's destroyed Cena. Actually, at one point on SmackDown a couple weeks ago, it was Miz and AJ going at it, and Cena didn't even say anything the whole promo. He was just like, "Is this gonna get real? Let's do it." Like AJ has been giving it to Cena hard, and finally last night before the Rumble, Cena gave it back. Cena hasn't been saying too much. It's been AJ calling him out. But I'm gonna be honest, and I like Kevin Owens. I do. As Mel, by the way, my girlfriend, who I've been with for 7 years, thinks you're basically a doppelganger of Kevin Owens. Every time I'm watching wrestling, every time, and this is a compliment to you, by the way, is she goes, "You're Fat Johnny," so that means you're skinnier than Kevin Owens. She keeps calling you fat. She's like, "Oh, Fat Johnny's out." And if anybody's seen what this co-host of mine looks like, yes, it is Fat Johnny. But AJ Styles is a league above Kevin Owens. It goes back to kind of like the "you deserve it" chant when Owens won it. How the fuck do you deserve that? He's like 30 years old. He's been in WWE for a year, and he won the title. And it's like, "You deserve it." Like, what the fuck are you talking about? Like, yes, he deserves it, I suppose. But AJ Styles to me he's the only guy from the indie scene since Bryan and Punk that he just seems like a league above me. I can see Vince going into WrestleMania with him as champ. That's not your prediction. Have you given a prediction yet?
Not yet.
Oh my god, you're holding out.
You know what? I'm doing the same thing. I'm going to go as a fan and say Styles.
Okay. You do realize that you just picked Owens and Styles to win, which is super fucking retarded because Roman Reigns and John Cena are wrestling on this pay-per-view against those two guys.
Yeah.
How could you possibly, in your right mind, think that both of those guys are walking out as champion going into Mania?
I know, it kind of goes against what I just said about the whole Nia Jax, Sasha Banks, Charlotte Bayley thing, but the thing is, I don't really know. With those ones, I could probably make a prediction. With these ones, I can't, and I'm only going off the prediction of who I like and who I'm a fan of, because I'm not a John Cena fan, I guess. Like, I don't hate him as much as I used to. A couple of years ago, he was just too watered down for me, and I was just getting sick of him, almost like Roman Reigns. Nowadays, because you're only getting small doses of John Cena, and when he does put off matches, he's actually, giving it. I don't mind John Cena as much anymore, and I think they should almost do the same thing with Roman Reigns. Back him off a bit, man. I don't need to see Roman Reigns all the goddamn time. Yeah, I'm more going on a fan kind of deal. Like, I can see Roman Reigns beating Owens. It's probably going to happen, right? And I can see John Cena beating Styles. It's probably going to happen. But I'm just basically making a prediction on who I want to win, who I like. Now, that being said, if two heels win the titles, the major titles, guaranteed a face is winning the Royal Rumble. I can guarantee it. There's no chance you're having a heel. You're not having Lesnar or Jericho, anybody that winning the Royal Rumble if Owens and Styles win. They're not going to have three heels standing tall at the end of the night. No way.
No, it's already gone. Even the two title matches, it's almost shocking to think that it would be two heels winning the title matches, to be honest.
Like I said, if they did do that, they'd have, like I said, Goldberg win the Royal Rumble and have that, like, the crowd be popping for that person winning, and they'll almost be too excited for him to win to remember the two heels winning kind of deal. I can almost see Styles winning because it wouldn't be a downer. He's a heel.
Okay.
He's a heel, yes, but, like, the crowd's still going to cheer.
Okay. Do I get a prediction now?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. So, Owens is going to beat Reigns, in my opinion. That's just, I don't know, maybe, like you just said, more of a fan thinking. But this is the way I see Styles and Cena. Styles beat Cena 3 times. Straight. There's no goddamn way in any universe, parallel universe, Mars, Pluto, fucking Saturn, nothing, that AJ Styles goes to the Royal Rumble in front of 50,000 people and beats John Cena 4 straight times. I can understand the definition of putting someone over, which is like, oh, you pinned me, and that's putting you over. You pinned me twice. Yeah, I'm putting you over. You pinned me at fucking SummerSlam, which is the 3rd biggest show of the year. There's no chance that he beats John Cena again. It would be, John Cena doesn't need it, but it would almost be kind of damaging to his career. It would be the equivalent of if Hulk Hogan took on Macho Man and put him over at WrestleMania, took on Macho Man and put him over at SummerSlam, took on Macho Man and put him over at fucking Survivor Series, took on Macho Man and put him over Royal Rumble. It's just putting him over and then just looking like a fucking bitch. There is, and John Cena's got this resurgence with this thugonomics thing coming back and recognize and all that. I would pick Styles. I would, but because he's lost already 3 times straight, I can see in no fucking world where John Cena loses 4 straight times AJ Styles, because that goes beyond putting you over. That goes to, I'm AJ Styles' little bitch. Like, I don't see it happen. So John Cena wins that match for me.
Do you think
there's no way, no way he puts him over 4 times?
Do you think there could be like shenanigans or something?
I don't know. Like, well, yes, probably all these matches have shenanigans. Like the Cena Styles thing. I see shenanigans in the Owens Reigns thing. You alluded to that earlier with the cage and everything. I hope the Styles and Cena match seems like it's really about who's better, and I hope there's no shenanigans because the whole if this match is kind of based on like Styles saying I'm better than you as a wrestler, and John Cena going I am the face that runs the place. I'm a decade doing this, so I hope that match ends 1, 2, 3. Just because that's how the storyline's kind of been presented, like the better man has to win.
What if
Owens and Reigns is like?
What if Angle comes out, hits Cena, and then Styles wins because of Angle's interference?
Well, you're getting like that's the stuff we don't know. Like that's anything can happen, I guess. But
okay,
I don't know.
On to the big one.
I'm going with Owens and Cena. I want AJ to win, and part of me wants Taker to win the Rumble, so it's AJ and Taker at Mania, which would be fucking fantastic. But apparently Taker needs surgery again, so
he's hip surgery, yeah. Okay, so on to the big one, the Royal Rumble. What do you think? What's your prediction?
Big Valboski.
Hello, Zellers.
Yeah, I was gonna say no. I got a prediction. I don't know.
Drink it in.
Did you hear that? That's my prediction. I'm going with Jericho. I think that I have no reason to do this, but it's just a mark inside of me. They spent like 4 months doing this Jericho Owens thing. They put so much time into it. They've got all these big guys in the match. Like they got Goldberg, they got Taker, they got Lesnar. It seems so obvious, right? Like that one of those guys will win. But in the background the whole time, lurking from the fucking shadows, is the most over guy on WWE at the moment. And happens to have one of the best years of his career. Owens is a champ. He's a US champ. They're best friends. What would happen if Jericho won and had to face Owens at Mania? It would make for great TV, I would think. But I'm going with Jericho just for a laugh, really. That's it. Just for a laugh. He's not going to win, by the way. But I'm going for the laugh. Fuck it. Because this year's Rumble is absolutely...
you know what?
Insane.
You know, I'm kind of wondering. You just mentioned Reigns versus Strowman.
Well, that's apparently a hot take that I had earlier.
So I wonder what... Could this be what's going to happen is that Reigns wins the the Universal title and Strowman wins the Rumble? And they're going to build this...
Oh my god.
They're going to build for Strowman and Reigns for the Universal title at Mania.
I can see that too. You're coming in from the opposite direction as I am, but at the same time, like, at the core, you're saying the same thing, aren't you?
Because
it's just the opposite of what I'm saying. Like, complete.
Well, because... just because the Universal title is not... Like we said before, it's not really that big compared to the world title. So they could have, like, 2 lesser guys fighting for it. Like, that's not the main event. You know what I mean? Just because you get a title shot at WrestleMania doesn't mean you're in the main event of WrestleMania.
No, that never was really.
So
what's your prediction, Tonto?
I'm going with Strowman.
Ooh. We got some off-the-cuff fucking predictions going on here.
That's what I'm thinking. I'm thinking they're building him to something. That's how I got a funny
Strowman, eh?
Yeah. I think they're building him
to something. And then he goes on to Reigns?
Yeah, if Reigns doesn't win it tomorrow night, he's definitely going to win it, like maybe the next pay-per-view or something. I don't see Owens going to WrestleMania as the Universal Champion.
Well, neither do I, unfortunately.
At some point, Jericho's going to cost him the belt, and they're going to fight, and then it's going to lead to 2 of them facing each other at Mania.
but not for the title.
But not for the title. It might even happen tomorrow night. Jericho might drop something out of the cage, and instead of Owens getting it,
what the fuck's happening tomorrow night? You keep saying tomorrow night. What's happening tomorrow?
Not tomorrow night.
Fuck Wednesday, isn't it?
Yeah, Sunday night. Sorry, Sunday night.
Okay, well, I mean, it's off the wall. Like there's certain times in wrestling as a fan where you just, even though the product is Raw is complete fucking crap, by the way, but I have no idea what's going to happen Sunday.
But I like
Strowman. I can see. I
like
can honestly
this unpredicted. I like the unpredictability of it.
Like I've been watching the Attitude Era, like I said, and I'm watching like '97 Royal Rumble. Like everybody knew Stone Cold was going to win. '98 was even more obvious. Like he was the hottest guy in fucking wrestling history. You knew watching that whole match, like, oh yeah, Austin's going to win this. And like all those, when you watch your old Rumbles, like 90% of Rumbles, you pretty much can predict the winner. This one it's weird. I don't know. You know what's throwing it off? It's the Goldberg, Lesnar, Undertaker thing.
Yeah.
Because everyone's thinking, how the hell can they get thrown out?
But Lesnar and Goldberg are going to eliminate each other.
Yeah, it's going to be like a thing which leads to Mania. It'd be like Sid Vicious and Hogan back in the day, where they kind of eliminate each other and led to a match at WrestleMania for no apparent reason.
Yeah.
But yeah, like I agree with that. But I don't know. It's going to be a good show. So we'll come back, I guess, next time with the Rumble will be over, probably.
Yeah, I'm gonna.
Like, it's a good show, man. Like, wrestling fans, we bitch a lot, don't we? But at the same time, like, this is a...
I'm actually excited.
I'm looking forward to... I'm looking forward to Sunday night. I think it's going to be, like you said earlier, the first half, whatever. But the second half with the Owens and Reigns, which I don't give a fuck about because I've seen that match like 600 times.
No, but the outcome could make a big difference.
The outcome is the only thing I care about. And, like, the match itself, watching them wrestle, like, I don't care. Styles and Cena, they have good matches. I'm looking forward to that match. That's going to steal the show, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Hot take here, that will absolutely steal the show.
I agree. Yeah. I agree with that.
And
I think
then,
so too.
Yeah, and then the Rumble match, which is the most confusing Rumble match, only because they've thrown in, like, the stuff that's weird. Like, so Rollins got taken out at a Rumble. But I still think he's going to end up in the Rumble. There's going to be an angle that night where he ends up back in. Like I can't see it. He's not even on the card. Like he's going to be there. Somehow.
He's gonna come out and attack somebody and then take their spot.
Yeah.
Who do you think?
So,
all right. One last thing now. Who do you think is going to be the surprise entrance? There are going to be a couple of surprises. Obviously, there is every year. Any predictions who you think is going to be surprise?
Honky Tonk Man.
I think
Kurt Angle, man. Kurt Angle's coming out like fucking.
Well, I think
I'm a merc.
I think Kurt Angle, if he does come out, he's doing one of two things. Well, see, that's what we said earlier. Why bring him into Royal Rumble and have him lose? I'd have him.
Yeah, I know, but I don't
come
care.
Out either. I'd have him come out after a Styles Cena match and attack Cena. That's what I would do.
I'm a bit worried about that, only because he hasn't been around for so long.
I don't know.
To have him come out in like a high-profile match where, let's be honest, some people might not even fucking know who he is.
He's Kurt Angle, though. They just announced him for the Hall of Fame, so people already, like, you know.
I know, but it's... Yeah, I'd almost want to test the waters to see how over he is before I put him, like, at the Royal Rumble and, like, 50,000 people and in the main angle of the whole show. I'd almost want to be like, it's been, like, fucking 10, 11, 12 years. But he could happen, man. Like, I'd be a bit iffy about it just because I don't know, like... His reaction is obvious... Like, this is going to be a smart crowd. But... surprise entrance? I don't know. Like, that's the best thing about the Rumble, though, isn't it? Because every year, the surprise entrants literally are a surprise entrant.
Well, look, last year, fucking AJ Styles, number 3, man, almost lost it when he came out.
Oh, I marked out.
So...
I did. It's a good Rumble.
If I see Kenny Omega come out Sunday, I'm going to fucking lose it, too, so...
I got a feeling he's coming out, man. Like, the wrestling superstars have a way of just, like, manipulating people. And, like, like Omega said earlier, something about if you purchase a WWE Network on Sunday just to see me, then you're kind of going to be disappointed or whatever. That's what he said.
Yeah, they always do swerves like that.
But that's super freaking Angle right there, isn't it?
Yeah.
Like, I mean, how stupid you gotta be? Sorry, people, if you purchase it, as in purchase it, on Sunday, you won't see me. It's almost like, okay, I'm gonna buy this because he's coming out. Same with Angle, too, but, like, Omega, I'm pretty goddamn sure Omega's coming out on Sunday.
Well,
especially after that thing I read earlier about him telling people not to purchase the WWE because he won't be coming out. I'm like, all right.
Well, thing with him, I'd like to see him come out at like number 10. And
Ty Dillinger is coming out number 10, bud.
Oh, I guess so. Yeah, that'd be perfect, actually. that actually is perfect. I got a funny feeling that that's happening after you said it.
Oh, that's definitely happening.
But Kenny Omega should come out around that time, and I would
have a good show.
I would actually have him like in the final 5 probably, and just maybe test the waters to see the reaction of people who might say, "Jesus, he might win this." And see how people react to it, and then not have him win, obviously, but like just see how people react to that. You know what I mean? And get on their seats, kind of deal. That's what I would do. But
I'd have him if he comes out.
They can't have
he
him
better be
fucking lose like right away. That's
no. In my opinion, like he should come out around like the 10 to 15 mark.
Yeah.
But if he does come out, and this is like, look at us talking now like wrestling fans, eh? We just went from we're non-podcast right now.
Yeah.
We're just talking like. We can't wait. Imagine if it happened, like we're like high school kids again. But if he came out, it'd almost be a tragedy. Like, he'd have to almost make it to the Final Four, wouldn't he?
Yeah.
Because, like, if you don't... This is the problem that Vince does. Is, like, you kind of got to make it. Like, and he can. Like, he could be there with, say, like, Taker, Goldberg, and Jericho, and Omega or something. Like, you don't know who's going to win that, right? So, like, he can kind of do it. But, it's going to be an interesting show. I haven't been this excited for a show. I'm not watching, by the way, just to let everybody know. If you save your soul and don't watch the pre-show, because if you're like a robot and you're some fucking machine that you can sit down and watch 7 hours of fucking pro wrestling, good on you. But the pre-show, they might have a good match, that Anderson Gallows. I grew up in the era where I tuned in and watched the pay-per-view. I'm going to tune in at 7 o'clock, 8:30 Johnny time, and I'm going to watch the show. I got no interest in watching the pre-show. It's just... The pre-show kind of takes away from, like, I like tuning in. You know where that graphic comes up and says warning, all the about the legal things that come up before every pay-per-view. That gets me excited. I'm like, oh, I'm watching something that I paid for. And like when I watch the pre-show, it's just like, oh my god, this is taking the fucking piss out of me. I can't even watch it. So, if we do have any listeners, one and a half of them, well, what do you think about who's going to win? I'm pretty sure there wouldn't be one. Nobody would have the same answer.
No.
It's totally fucked this year, isn't it?
No. All right, so...
Weird thing is, hold on, I just want to say one thing before you let us go. Neither one of us picked Goldberg, Lesnar, or Taker to win the Rumble.
No, it's too obvious.
You think so?
Way too obvious, man. Now, I don't know. If they have Goldberg win, I'm going to be disappointed, actually.
What?
Not because I don't want... It's just, like I said, it's almost a little bit too obvious. Like, I don't know. Then what I got to look forward to, Goldberg versus...
Reigns?
Like, come on.
No, they're going with Goldberg versus fucking... Goldberg Lesnar number 3.
Yeah, and then
is pretty much penciled in.
Let's say Goldberg wins, then you got to look forward to fucking Lesnar winning the Universal title somewhere between now and Mania, and I don't know about that.
Well, we don't want that because Lesnar's a fucking goddamn joke. He can't even wrestle in goddamn Nevada.
Yeah,
he's banned from half the country. But this is the most exciting time of year. It's my favorite time of year. It's January has always been my favorite month for wrestling since I was a kid. This is when I get all giddy because even though like I watch Raw, yeah, like I can't even watch Raw. I'll be honest with people that are listening. I do a podcast for wrestling, for fuck's sakes, and I cannot even sit through Raw, and you can.
Well, it turns it off half the time, like.
Yeah, like it's a horrible product, like wrestling product. But there's certain times every year when you kind of just your old kid self comes in, and you go like, "Oh my god, it's a Royal Rumble." This is my favorite pay-per-view. It's always been. WrestleMania is a good pay-per-view, but my favorite pay-per-view since I was like 9 has been the Royal Rumble, and I'm super excited. I can't wait to watch the show on Sunday. I think it's going to be kind of what you said, like half good, half bad. But at the end of the night, hopefully, let's just hope Roman Reigns ain't walking out fucking. Somehow he comes in the Rumble. Don't make any sense. He's not even new. He just comes in, fucking smashes everybody to pieces, and wins the Royal Rumble again for like third year in a row.
He wins the Universal title and wins the Royal Rumble. You gotta face
He's
himself.
not even in the match.
You gotta face himself at WrestleMania.
Roman Reigns versus himself in a fucking steel cage match. He just starts beating himself against fucking. Like he suplexes himself off top of the cage. Like, yeah, but I don't know. Like, we never talked about like favorite pay-per-views before, but it's my favorite like single pay-per-view was the Royal Rumble. I always liked it. I do.
All right. Well, we'll leave it at that.
Yeah, well, you probably should because we're like fucking goddamn 4 hours in, aren't we?
Hour and a half, hour and 34 minutes.
That's not bad.
Well, I'm going to put up... I still haven't got a chance, like you said earlier on, is that I haven't got a chance to put up our old one from November yet, so I'll put that up first. Get that edited together and put it up.
You were actually here when that happened.
Yeah. I will put this one up that we're finishing right now. What's tomorrow? Thursday? Probably like Friday, Saturday. I'll put it up before Rumble just so that it'll be up with our predictions, you know what I mean? And then we'll probably try to do one on maybe Monday, possibly. Depends. I'd like to do one. I'd like to do one after the Rumble.
I'd like to do a post Rumble one.
Yeah, I'd like to do one after.
Like
the
I'd
Rumble,
almost like to do one like
Raw.
I'd like to do one like right after the Rumble if everything was right in the rules because we're hot and we're fucking, that moment.
Well, we can, but I mean that's a little bit late for you, isn't it?
I know that's the worst thing. Like in a perfect world, I mean, I guess.
Because
it'd be nice to.
Don't bother me.
At 11,
I'm unemployed piece of shit. I mean, I can stay up till 11. You got to work Monday morning, so.
You're 400 pound unemployed BG.
But yeah, I'd like to do one after Rumble, but before Raw, just because I don't want what happens on Raw to then change our opinions of what happened at the Rumble.
Yeah, well, because if we watch Raw first, then you know what's going to happen. We're going to start talking about what happened on Raw.
Yeah.
It's like just that fine line between like Rumble and Raw.
I don't know. Maybe I'll be talking to you during the Rumble anyway. Maybe after the Rumble we can just hop on and do like a little 15-minute, half-hour kind of deal and just talk about it, and then we'll add it to our next one or whatever.
Yeah, right, Johnny. We're at an hour and 40 minutes almost now. We can't talk for 15 minutes. You know where this is going to go.
No. All right. Well, we'll stop blabbing, I suppose, and we'll let everybody go here.
What?
We
can go forever.
Give us the outro.
Nobody listens to us, man.
Give us the outro here, buddy.
Okay. Well, it's Wednesday night. We just watched Raw. We just watched SmackDown. Pick of the week goes to SmackDown, even though I didn't think it was that good.
Yeah,
but coming Sunday night is, in my opinion, the best pay-per-view of the year. It's the most exciting. It's January. It's the road to WrestleMania. It's the Royal Rumble. It's the most unpredictable time of year. I hope you look forward to it. I hope you watch it. If you're out there listening, please chime in. Let us know your predictions. I know there's only 1.5 listeners, but half predictions better than nothing, man. So chime in. And we'll get back on the year after the Royal Rumble. Everybody enjoy your week. And we'll see you after Chris Jericho wins the Royal Rumble on Sunday night. How about that, Johnny?
We'll see.
All right, take it easy, everybody. We'll see you on Monday.
See ya.
Bye.